Secretly designed to unionize millions of healthcare workers and boost the power of big labor. Good morning to you, Mallory.
Good morning.
I understand the book came out yesterday and it's doing extremely well, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What made you interested in delving into the relationship between healthcare and unions?
We didn't start that way. We were trying to find, we were going to do a book on what the root causes are of our growing deficits and our growth of government and our huge unemployment. And we kept trying to follow the money. If you follow the money, it leads back to the government employee unions and their bosses, the shadow bosses.
So you claim in the book that healthcare, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare as we've come to know it, was it a gimme to the unions? In what way?
Oh, it's a huge gimme to the unions. Right now, there's about 1.5 million unionized healthcare workers. Under Obamacare, you'll have 21 million healthcare workers, and a lot of those can be unionized. And every million people that get unionized, that's $1 billion in dues. These government employee unions take in huge amounts of money, huge.
So let's talk about the waivers that some of these unions were able to get, because I found that fascinating. You know, the unions were behind Obamacare, but then at the same time they filed for these waivers because they didn't want to have to pay when it came down to that. So the waivers cover 613,625 workers, 88.6% represented by unions, 11.4% work for private firms. How did that factor into your research?
Well, that just caused the cost of Obamacare to go up by about $120 billion. But that wasn't the real issue. They just wanted to get more. Remember, when these government employee unions buy their politicians, they want to make sure they stay bought. They want to be able to dictate everything they get. The government employee unions are the greatest scam perpetrated on the American people.
In what way?
Well, it's a scam because the money goes from the politicians to the government employee unions back to the politicians. Remember, nobody's representing the taxpayer. The taxpayers should be out in the streets asking their politicians who their shadow bosses are. Is it the American people or is it the government employee union heads?
Now, besides health care, you also talk about national security employees becoming unionized. In what way with that?
Well, without anybody really realizing it, 20% of our Department of Defense, over 20%, has been unionized. We have about 700,000 now civilian workers, and 60% of those have been unionized. And what they do being unionized is they file grievances. One just filed a grievance which cost our government a lot to defend because they raised on a base the soda rate from 50 to 55 cents for a can of soda. And that's the type of things they do. But beyond that, 40% of Homeland Security already has been unionized. Border Patrol agents, immigration agents. It is amazing. Even parts of the Coast Guard. And it's all going on without anybody realizing it. These unions take in over $14 billion a year in dues. That's all we could find. And it may be as high as 20.
It's a very interesting analysis. Nobody's done it before.
Nobody's done it before.
Now Mallory Factor has done it. Shadow Bosses. The book came out yesterday, doing very well. Thanks so much.